we're rolling.
Oh,
start a timer. And we are.
I'll do like 29, 30.
Oh, okay.
It's just under 30 minutes.
Is this a pretty good distance?
I guess
Yeah,
like
that sounds
my
pretty
coffee
good.
mug.
Sounds great to me.
Yeah.
I like their
We-
signs.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
You like those?
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah, we want to get some shirts and maybe some of these mugs made for, next time when you guys are on. So you
Yeah.
have a little takeaway. We have stickers.
Oh yeah.
I will
guys like
definitely take a
stickers.
sticker with me.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I'm actually going to be going to Cedar City this weekend to go see if we can make contact. So
Oh,
that's
nice.
what's going to
Yes.
happen this weekend.
Nice.
That is what this whole week and this whole thing is going to be an alien-filled weekend. It's going to be so great, so exciting.
As long as it's not
filled.
filled by an alien, you're okay.
Listen, no promises, man. I mean, I'm open either way.
So
Sorry.
Yeah.
So your friend that lives down in Cedar City, did
Yes.
he see it in the city or was he up?
No, he was. I believe he was. Jason. It was Jason.
Oh yeah.
You know Jason Wade, right? You know Jason Wade.
You were telling me, but
I was telling
I
Jason
didn't.
Wade.
He
Yeah.
didn't he just play?
He just played. Yeah. Anyway, no, he was not in the city. He was up. I think like it's a place called Three Peaks, and just tons and tons of stars around, and that's where his experience happened. I kind of feel like he should tell his experience more than I should because the way he tells it is very, very exciting, and he just gets so enthused about it. So it's great.
That's
It's so
awesome.
fun.
Excellent.
Well, I was going to say, because, we were down there a couple weekends ago. I mentioned that to you. And
Yes.
we were up Cedar Breaks where, you can just see all the stars, everything. And I was actually taking pictures of the sky, and we saw this little zip go across the sky. I thought it was a meteor at first.
Yeah.
It stops. It goes back while I'm taking a picture.
No way.
And so I got this little line on the screen, and then it started doing these little maneuvers, and then it took off.
Are you joking me?
Uh-uh.
When was
Is
this
that
again?
the photo you showed
This
me?
was,
Non-ballistic motion, huh?
yeah. So this was 2 weekends ago,
Oh,
3 weekends
man.
ago.
So we know they're still around, guys.
Oh, yeah.
This is so great.
It's
yeah.
super cool. Well, speaking of
Yeah.
seeing aliens up the canyons,
Yes.
you have a pretty good story of
Yeah,
that.
it's funny because I've always wanted to believe in UFOs and aliens and stuff like that. I don't know. It's always fascinated me. But I think this was probably back in 2007 and 2008. So I was now keep in mind it was a meteor shower night.
Okay.
So know that I'm expecting to go see meteors, right? So with that in mind, I went up Provo Canyon with some friends of mine. My buddy Adam was driving, and then my friend Annie was sitting next to him. I was sitting behind Annie, and then my friend Amber was sitting next to me. So I'm kind of diagonal to Adam, who's driving, right? Sitting in the back. We're driving up Provo Canyon, and there's a point where Deer Creek is on your left-hand side, and there's like a cliff on your right-hand side. So while we're driving there and it's nighttime, I see this round, brownish, orangish, reddish, glowing-looking thingy zipping across the lake. But the way it was flying, it was as if the laws of physics just didn't apply to it, you know? If you took like a flashlight and took like a beam of a flashlight and just like zipped it across, like how it would go, that's how this one went. But it made no noise. And my first thought was, oh my gosh, a meteor. You know, that was my, it was like, oh yeah, oh, meteor, guys, we saw a meteor. But then I'm like, wait a minute, hang on. Hold your horses. This is right above the lake. It's not way up in the sky. So then I'm like, is that a bird? And I'm like, what birds do I know glow? Only the ones in India, and we're not in India. I'm just kidding. They don't even glow in India. The point is it's zipping across, making no noise at all. That's the other thing. There was no noise. And when we were driving and it was coming, I thought for sure it was going to like T-bone us or something, because it was that low to the ground.
How big was it?
I mean, I would have to say it's got to be like around, I don't know, like it was going so fast, but I'm thinking like the size of like a big vehicle or something.
Okay.
But it was the whole thing was glowing. So I couldn't make out a actual shape or something. It was just the whole thing was like a big zip. But we're driving and this is coming at us, and I don't know if it goes above our car or around our car.
Or through it?
Or well, funny enough, Adam. Well, and I'll get to that point. But like, what happens is, I turn my head to the right, and I see it like somehow it's past us, and I see it elevate a little bit above the cliff and just keep flying. But we got really close to it, enough for me to like be able to turn my head and see it fly past the
Who was all with
by
you?
the cliff. So there's my buddy Adam, and then Annie, and then me, and then my friend Amber.
Well, you weren't driving though.
I was
right?
not driving. I
Okay.
was riding in the back. But what was interesting was when this happened, I was so startled. I was so shocked. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know? But Adam, the driver, yelled at the same time I did. And we're like, shut up. Did you just see that? He's like, yeah, I saw that. What did you see? And then we were like trying to go back and like,
Just
no way.
you two
So
saw it?
everyone saw it, or?
The girls didn't see it.
Mm.
And they thought we were making it up. And I'm like, listen, here's the deal. Normally, yes, I would do something like that to freak you guys out. So you shouldn't put that past me. However, this time I am not crying wolf. I'm not crying UFO. I mean, I am because I saw the UFO. But he saw it and I saw it. And, you know, they honestly thought that we were making it all up. But the girls did anyway. But we were walking out after we parked. And we're like, okay, what did you see? And we're describing what we saw. And it was so similar. Interestingly enough, Abe, like he was thinking that it actually went through the car. But I'm like, I don't know if that happened. I didn't feel any sort of weird energy shift or anything like that. I mean, I was Caucasian before. I'm Indian now. Something could have happened. I'm just kidding. No, so I don't know what it was. I'm saying it's a UFO. I don't know if it's aliens because it's not like I saw beings
That's
come
weird.
out.
The girls didn't see it. Isn't that
weird? And what's interesting is like I actually
Wait,
ran
how
into-
are you guys seated? We're like guys in front, girls in the
No,
back.
so Adam was driving, and then Annie was sitting next to him up in the
so
front,
you guys are like staggered.
and I was in the back corner, and then Amber was next to me. What's funny is like that girl Amber, I ran into her not that long ago, and I was like telling her about that experience. I'm like, hey, remember that? Because we had that experience together. She's like, I don't even remember that. Like, I think I remember going and seeing meteors, but like, I know for sure I didn't see anything. And I'm like, that's so bizarre. And if it was just me that saw it, maybe I would have even like disregarded it and said, hey, you know what? My mind was playing tricks on me. But the fact that Adam saw it as well.
That's
So
what- yeah, they
that's
saw
when
it.
I was like, okay, so there definitely was something that we both saw. And then it was cool. It was just like a really exciting experience that like, and it's not like I've seen tons and tons of UFOs since. Just the other night though, I was out, ironically enough, shooting Alien Country, and I started seeing a bunch of like these meteor type things up in the sky.
Mhm.
But here's the thing. This is why I'm like, but were they meteors? I don't know. Because they would go and they would like quickly disappear. So I'm like, that could be a meteor.
Yeah.
But then one of them would like go and it would like curve. Like, and I'm like, do meteors curve like that? Maybe they
Maybe
do.
a satellite?
I don't know. But if it is, it's going super duper fast.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. I'm
Going-
not entirely sure what they were, but
Going
so I'm
back
calling it a UFO.
to the car, I mean, did you have the radio on, or did you notice like any weird electromagnetic frequencies happening, or like,
I don't think the radio was on. I mean,
or the clock stopped?
Went
Something funny
backwards.
like
The
that,
compass started
yeah.
just going.
yeah, you
'Cause
know.
that's like a common occurrence in a lot of, stories.
Right. The flux capacitor wasn't working. If you want to go there? No. You know what? I don't recall any of that stuff. I do know this though. Like,
You said it was a glow though. Was it like a really, really bright?
it was
glow?
pretty. Yeah, it was pretty
What
bright.
what time of day was it?
It was night.
Night.
So that's why I thought for sure it was a meteor. Right. It was dark. It was very dark outside. And yeah, like reddish, brownish, orangish glow type of thing. Going pretty fast. And that's how I remember it, honestly. It might have been a different color, but the thing is like, the fact that both of us saw it was an indication that, okay, there definitely was something. And I mean, we were driving fast. It was driving fast, so it was not like I had a chance to like pull out my phone. And back then I had a flip phone, so you wouldn't want to see the pictures anyway. But
Wait, how long ago was that?
trust me, I should have gotten an iPhone a lot later in life. But no, it was back in 2007 or 2008.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I know what I saw, right? And I'm not gonna say aliens again because I don't know for sure. But
He's not
I don't
saying
know.
aliens, but aliens.
Yeah,
Aliens.
but-
Probably.
Aliens.
Well, there's an interesting point about. Can I?
Yeah,
bring
yeah.
something
Please,
up?
please.
So, the first thing that comes to my attention is that the girls don't remember it at all.
They
And-
said they didn't even see it.
well, that's significant to me because that would actually be a strong indicator that it was producing selective memory and a selective experience.
Okay.
So you two saw it, but the two other people in the vehicle that should have experienced it just because of its presence and its brightness don't. And when she said, I remember something about meteors, that tells you a lot right there, because it almost suggests like their memories were scrubbed.
I don't know. I mean, it could have been, because the truth of it was, because we had such an intention of going and seeing meteor showers, that's all they remember. And I
Well,
don't think
what
they
if not just scrubbed, but what if it's like they just allow, men to see it, or some technologies like
Well, or
that was their intention to.
and some
just-
things
Yeah.
about you in
That wouldn't
particular,
flag
I
the
wouldn't
day.
be surprised, actually. Just
Okay.
our brief conversations that we've had on
Yes.
the larger topic,
Yeah.
it wouldn't surprise me. And why did he see it? Because there had to be a second-party verification. If you'd just seen it, it wouldn't have had the impact in your memory if only you'd seen it. And the
Yeah.
girls, who knows how they would have reacted if they actually saw it.
Yeah.
They
I
couldn't
have no
handle it.
idea. I have
Yeah.
no idea.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry. My
Very cool.
well, I
Well,
guess for
No, that's an
adjusting for
interesting
inflation, my $5.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting, and it's crazy. I'll share one last one if that's okay.
Oh, please.
Of course.
This happened to my roommate, and it's weird because since I don't know, since like I've had like my own personal experiences, I've had friends tell me that they've been abducted, and all kinds of stuff. I'm like, wait, what? Like, what are you talking about, right? But this one wasn't an abduction story. This was another. It was a roommate of mine, and back when he had this experience, he was married and he was living in Taylorsville, and he had come home from whatever they were doing, and it was like around midnight. So they went to go check the mail, and while he was like at the mailbox, kind of like looking at the mail, his wife was standing next to him, just rigid, completely rigid, like kind of frozen type of thing. And he like turns and looks at her, and he looks up at like above wherever she was looking at, and right above their house were these I guess he would describe them as two rods that were kind of glowing parallel to each other, but in between the rods was like this shape, was like a shape of a ship, but it was kind of translucent. It was like bending light, so it's almost like you could see that there was a shape there, but it was like camouflaging itself, right? But this was going very, very, very slowly above their house, right? Just very slowly above their house. And when they saw that, like when he saw it, he said like the hair on the back of his neck just stood up. And he's like, what is that? And then all of a sudden, it's almost like it recognized that it was witnessed. And so it just in like 2 seconds, it like zipped away, and it was like in Ogden. It just like zipped like super quick away. And he's like, what in the world? And so like he went and he Googled stuff and was like typing stuff up. And I guess a lot of people that evening witnessed the same UFO. So
Wow.
that was interesting because that was a lot slower of an experience, right? Mine was so
Yeah.
quick that I didn't have a chance to like really like figure out in my own mind what it was.
Well, and
So-
it was interesting too because I was, kind of looking up some occurrences that have happened over the past few years, and the people that put, you can submit reports to like is it the National UFO?
MUFON?
Is that who it is?
Mutual UFO Network?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting, and you can see how long each instance lasts, and there's some that last up to 45 minutes or more.
Yeah.
And that's a really interesting thing. I don't remember how long the Phoenix lights lasted, but
How long did the Phoenix lights? I mean, people were
It was a-
witnessing them for about, I think it was like an hour.
yeah, because it was enough for like 40,000 people to see it.
Yeah, it's wild.
And so it's crazy to have those experiences. Well, it's also funny too that you mentioned once you mention your experience, people come out of the woodwork
Yeah.
to share. Like even on set the other day,
Yeah.
on the TV pilot we were
On the TV
shooting,
pilot,
everyone's
yeah.
like, "Oh, I got pictures for you."
Yeah, I know.
It's
I'm like,
like,
wait,
oh,
what?
Everyone has these
Everyone's got
experiences
something, right?
that's in the back of their phone that they forget about until it's brought up. So
Yeah.
it's pretty awesome.
Well, that's an interesting note. When we were shooting in Spanish Fork
Mm-hmm.
during Alien Country, when we were shooting in the fall, we were down there at the that farm,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And both Crit and I, well, Crit saw it first, but out east, the moon had just risen, the full moon had just risen up over the ridge,
Okay.
and there were three. Well, there was one that was a planet. It was like Venus,
Okay.
but then there were three lights around it
Okay.
that started moving,
Okay.
and I got pictures of it. I took pictures of it, and when I made the photo album for Alien Country, the one, I actually put that picture in the photo album. So the photo that I took of what looked very much like UFOs in Spanish Fork while we were shooting is actually in the movie Alien Country in the scrapbook.
That's awesome.
That is fantastic.
So,
do you guys have? Sorry, just to derail a little bit. When does that show come out? Do you know?
Good question. We are not completely done yet. Actually, we're still like in
I saw
the
they're
middle
still
of
shooting, right?
We're wrapped. We're wrapped
Okay.
now. We wrapped last week.
they got a lot of posts to do on it, though.
Yeah,
right?
that's the thing. We have a lot of posts to do on it, and once we have the post done and everything, then trying to figure out if we want to go a film festival route, if we want to go just straight to distribution. So it's still a little bit of a process. We're still a little bit away, but man, I mean, maybe the end of the year it would be kind of interesting if we could have even like a screening or something. So
That'd be so.
That sounds
cool.
about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll have to bring you both back on once it does.
Oh man,
So you can promote
absolutely,
that.
absolutely.
Talk
Let's
about
do
that.
it.
Yeah, because that was quite an adventure.
It was an adventure.
Yeah.
It was very much an adventure. It was interesting because like I remember last year I had like a goal to travel Utah. I just was so fascinated to do that. I did. I was like I want to just travel Utah and just explore different places in Utah. And Alien Country provided me with that opportunity, as it turns out.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh wow, like this is amazing. And so I got to see some really cool places I've never been to before, all in Utah, that were just so gorgeous and breathtaking. And I was like, man.
Absolutely.
What was one of your favorite places?
Man, I mean,
I liked Leprechaun a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Leprechaun Canyon's amazing.
It's a slot canyon down kind of by Tickaboo.
Yeah.
That was very cool.
It was just so fascinating, like that whole area. Like, hardly anyone ever goes down there.
I never heard of that. Yeah. Have you been there?
No.
It's
Leprechaun?
It's right outside. Well,
I've heard of Tickaboo.
Tickaboo is
but
right
not
outside of Lake
Leprechaun.
Powell, and Leprechaun
Okay.
is about half hour away from there.
Kind of north.
Yeah,
It's
north
sorta-
of there, and just like a tiny little slot canyon. You hike like a half hour in, and you can get into some cool slot canyons.
I'm gonna say
And
that.
yeah, it's awesome. It's just a cool place. I
I
would
really-
love to go back, actually.
I really liked Goblin Valley because we were there
Goblin is
overnight,
Yeah.
Yeah.
shooting overnight. Man, you forget, because I live downtown here, you forget what an unlight contaminated sky looks like. And it
Yes.
is.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's another planet down there.
It was stunning, actually.
That always like
so good.
every time I see, like, anytime I go out of the city and like you at night and you see, it is incredible. It's just
Yeah.
And there it's fairly high altitude, and there's no light pollution
Yeah.
anywhere nearby. So you literally can see
Everything.
every star. In
It
fact, it
is-
was
Yeah.
I was noticing this. I got to watch first the Pleiades rise,
Mm-hmm.
and then Aldebaran, and then the Belt of Orion, and then Sirius in a row. And they
Oh,
were like
man.
literally in a row. It was very cool.
It'd be fun to take one of those panoramics on a camera sometime of that
Yeah.
happening in the video.
I got this really cool photo. I always show people anytime, and I
I-
tell them it's not like enhanced. It's just that's what it looked like. It was like
That is insane.
this was in Yellowstone though, but it's like it was when we got there. I was like, oh my god, like I've
Yeah.
never seen it this like, and it just
That's how,
how
it
I
looks,
looked at
yeah.
Goblin.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it's really spectacular to be in places like that. I think my only regret with Goblin Valley was it was cold. I wish it was warmer. I would probably go back and do it again and go explore that place when it's warmer.
What time did you guys go shoot?
Yeah.
Was
Well,
it
we were shooting
during
like in
winter?
October, so it was
October,
chilly
November.
at night.
Oh, so even during the day it was kind of.
No, during the day it was fine.
During the day was fine, but we shot
Okay.
that was all a night shoot.
Oh, that's sad.
And it was a bit chilly.
Yeah, at
Yeah.
night it gets freezing.
Yeah.
Well, it was chilly, and it was a night shoot, and we'd already driven there. Like, we drove from Green River down there,
Yeah.
so
Mm.
it was a long night
Yeah.
as well. And then we had to
And
get
then we
up,
drove back to Tickaboo. after
like,
that.
literally there was no rest. We had to get in and drive to Tickaboo as the sun was coming up.
Yeah.
We were driving to Tickaboo.
It was
I
crazy.
I woke up driving off the road 3 times.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I know we're like derailing your podcast massively, but like I remember like that night after Goblin Valley, I was the first to drive there because I needed to go get everyone's like keys, and I remember driving there, and even when I got there, like the light hadn't come up, and the thing with Tickaboo is like there's like nothing around, so we're driving and driving and driving, and like the GPS says to go to this certain place, but what's crazy is like all you see is sagebrush.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm like literally not sure if this is the right road at all. Maybe I'm way off the beaten path, and all of a sudden a lodge appears out of nowhere. So
Yeah.
That's
amazing.
good.
No, I had this very similar experience. I was driving and driving, going, it seems like I should be there by now, and you're just driving. Like this is before even the turnoff.
Yeah.
From Hanksville, the turnoff.
Yeah.
I'm driving, going, did I miss it? Am I gonna be in New Mexico shortly?
Yeah.
Like,
It's
it was
crazy.
interesting.
Really interesting.
So we've completely
Sorry,
gotten off.
No.
This was a good segue for
We're just
some
plugging. We're
good
just
stuff.
plugging. We're just
Some
plugging the
really
movie.
Yeah,
good
we're
stuff.
plugging the movie now,
Yeah.
so we don't have to. No, we will later. But no, the other cool thing about Goblin Valley is all of the ancient pottery you can find down there and cave drawings, which is going to bring us full circle to Chaco Canyon at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, how many years have you been in Utah?
I grew up here, so I was 6 years old when I moved here from India.
Okay.
So
Also,
Yeah.
you've known Utah.
mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
You just hadn't gotten to like.
That's funny
do the
because a lot
whole
of people that
county.
grow
Yeah.
up in Utah, like I was like that. Too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still a ton of places I haven't gone. Like it's just
Tons and tons
it's
of
just because
places.
we're here and we're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm here. I'll go next
Yeah.
weekend,
Yeah.
and we ain't never
We
end
never
up
remember
going.
going. Yeah.
And like the whole west side of Utah is kind of a vast desert. So
Yeah.
No.
It doesn't hold much appeal. But
Yeah.
no, you're originally from Minnesota. If I'm
Well, I was born in
not- or
Wisconsin,
born in Wisconsin.
and then
we were just talking about Wisconsin the other day.
Yeah, we were.
I'm sorry. No, I was born in Wisconsin, southern Wisconsin, and then we moved. Not long after I was born, we moved to Minneapolis, and I lived there until I was about 3, and then, little 3.5, and then we moved west to Washington State
Mm.
and bought. I told him how much we bought the land for, and he was like, "What?"
Yeah.
We bought 20 acres for $3,800.
Yeah, I'm back.
That
in-
is ridiculous.
No, it was ideal.
Yeah. It was
I need to
ideal.
go back in time, with Monopoly money, and go
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I live. That's where I basically grew up, was north of Spokane, and then have been other places since then. Lived other places, but I've lived here since 2008. Moved here in August 2008, and it's the longest I've lived anywhere, including where I grew up.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
And your first experience happened in Minneapolis.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
A number of them.
Thank you.
A number of them. It was sort of like the precursor experiences. The sort of like basic training experiences happened in Minneapolis.
How old were you?
I was 3. Well, when the very first one happened, so I started having which, by the way, for a toddler is a freak out thing. I started having the first sort of waking dream states when I was about 1.5, 2, which is not ideal when you're a child. Sleep paralysis is not something you enjoy when you're a toddler.
Yeah. Turns out,
Or at
even as an
all.
adult,
Yeah,
you don't
even as
enjoy
a-
it as much.
Exactly.
I didn't enjoy it
you
as
were,
much.
You were 3 when you first had.
No, I started having the kind of moving in and out of that space, that
Okay.
state of mind, when I was about 1.5,
Mm.
1.5 and 2. I had that first major experience when I was about 2.5.
Wow.
So I was about 2.5 years old. And I'll just going to vague book for you here, and I won't say what they are. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I was talking about my reactions to them. So do you want me to tell the story, or do you want to ask me, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, sure. It's like, you got about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I've got 5 minutes.
We're yeah.
Well, do you want me to pause?
Oh.
Yeah, we could pause right here and just start right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, we could.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Let's
Okay.
do that.
Okay.